Unturned is presented by UpdateAI.
It was half of the CS team that was cut.
Mm.
Yes, change in this form isn't the greatest. It sucks, to be frank, but we still had customers that we needed to make sure had that measure of success, that ability to lean on us for what they needed. And so I can't have CSMs proactively reaching out to them every month to have a conversation. The biggest piece of feedback we were given was twofold. One, customers loved.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, John.
How
Hi.
are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Hi, Aanal.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, everybody. We are recording this on Veterans Day. So happy Veterans Day to all of those who have the day off and who are remembering and celebrating. And the episode will be coming out in just a few days from now. I'm Josh, one of your co-hosts here with Jon Johnson. Christy is off for the day looking at colleges, which is really fun. Except not for her. She's graduated. Just to be clear, she's graduated. It is for her daughter. So, and so we're really excited to be here with Aanal Patel. Aanal is the Senior Customer Success Director at Crunchbase, and she's going to tell us a little bit about we know Crunchbase, of course, we all know Crunchbase, but a little bit the ins and outs and maybe some fun facts we didn't know and what some of their focus areas are right now. So, Aanal, thank you so much for being here. Thank
you for having me. I'm really excited. I wish I was back touring colleges because I do miss those days, but now onto better and bigger things with Crunchbase. Crunchbase, like you said, a lot of people know our brand. Crunchbase is an AI-powered platform that's helped about 75 million deal makers discover, prioritize the right opportunities using our private market data. So Crunchbase has historically been able to tell, someone who's looking for deals to close or doing due diligence, understanding what's happening within a company. Crunchbase is able to surface that information and that historical data pretty easily to our consumers. And that's what Crunchbase has been known to be. And now so
you actually said that you were an AI-powered company, AI-powered platform. I would not have a year ago been like, the list of my AI companies, Crunchbase is right on the top there. But so you guys are just going with it, right? Tell us a little bit more about that.
We are. So here's the beauty of it. I mentioned how, we've been able to give you historical data, like what has happened within a company. What Crunchbase is now, has now been doing and has launched has been the ability to tell you what could happen within a company. Which companies are growing, which companies are due for a funding round, which companies are likely to exit, things of that nature. So we've got growth insights, news insights, funding predictions, growth predictions that are powered by our proprietary data and surfaced via, our API and our platform.
That's amazing. Who are you trying to disrupt with that? Are you trying to disrupt the VC junior analyst that you can help to, preempt some of these insights directly by purchasing your API information or whatnot? Or what's that disrupt? Because it sounds disruptive.
It's very disruptive. I mean, I think the customers I've spoken to, we're targeting the VCs, the PE firms, we're targeting market researchers, we're targeting deal makers. So salespeople, because all three of those sectors rely on beating individuals or beating competitors to individual companies or to individual trends. They all want to identify, the next big thing before someone else does. And so with those investor insights, the product services insights, those funding predictions, we're able to not just target VCs, PEs, our sales teams are using our predictions and insights to really fuel their own pipeline. We have consultants really doing quicker research. Data scientists are huge advocates in terms of, the ability to save them time. What would take them 2 weeks is, hopefully going to be able to take them 1 day with Crunchbase's predictions and insights. So that's kind of where we're playing at the moment.
John, you had got a question there. I cut you off, so I want to give you some time here.
No, you're good. I think anytime we're talking about big data, there's always kind of the big question around, how is this being utilized, at least from the interior, right? So you manage CSMs, you're working with customers to meet their outcomes. How are you kind of working through the mindset of thinking through big data, thinking through very strategic offerings, not just from a platform standpoint, but from a human-centric standpoint.
Yeah, I think I'm a firm believer in practice what you preach. So one of the big things that we're doing internally is we're working with our operations team to create our own lead score fueled by predictions and insights, by Crunchbase's predictions and insights. So what that means is we're taking a look at, historically, where's our sweet spot been with companies that we have been able to close quickly, or have like the largest deal, or even have the best retention towards. And we're putting that into a scoring model and coupling it with the predictions and insights Crunchbase provides. And what that's allowing us to do is target those high growth companies. It's helping us target those companies that maybe we didn't identify before via our own outbounding or via our own inbounding. For CS, it's helping us identify churn risk early on. Like, which companies should I get ahead of because they've seen, layoffs, or because I know that there is now funding available. Like, who should I be targeting and really talking to capitalize the benefits of Crunchbase? So that's a little bit of like how we're using it. And then I think with our customers, it was a matter of listening to them. Like, I'm a firm believer in voice of customer and product alignment. And like, one of the things that came to be when Meg, our CPO, joined Crunchbase about a year and a half ago, was he and I were quick to align with each other and really go on this roadshow, just talking to our customers, understanding what our customers need in this whole like Gen AI world, where there were a lot of disruptors. There was a lot of uncertainty of like, would there be a recession? Would we lose our SaaS budget? Things like that. We wanted to understand like what really needed to happen and what needed to click. What did we need to provide our customers to make sure we were sticky? And the thing we heard most often was, tell me what I should do with the data. Tell me who I should be targeting, as opposed to having me do the manual work, me as in the customer. And that's where Crunchbase predictions and insights were really born from, was like the ability to tell you who to target, who you should be reaching out to, who you should be working with, what trends you should be following, things of that nature.
Tell us about your CS organization. So we can start with maybe your reporting structure, who you ladder up to, who reports into you, what the composition of the overall post-sales program is at Crunchbase.
Yeah, so we've got our CRO at top, got our VP of revenue, myself, got a manager who manages our CSA, and then I'm hiring for another manager to manage some of my CSMs. Under me, I also
enterprise or SMB CSMs?
SMB, okay. And some senior. And then
just throwing that out there because we've got lots of listeners, and I'm sure you've got lots of people that are already like, as soon as this gets out
there's
there,
a job.
yeah, Aanal, your LinkedIn message inbox is going to be stuffed now.
I love it. I love when it is. So yes, we are hiring a manager. We are also hiring a renewal specialist. I also have 2 enterprise CSMs who manage our largest logos, and then I also have a customer ops manager. So within my team, we've got everyone from the very small business all the way up to enterprise logos that they're managing, and they're managing everything post-sale, inclusive of renewals. So my CSAs are more of that scaled model where there's that one-to-many touch point, as well as a portion of it being proactive. And then my SMB CSMs are managing SMB mid-market. My seniors are managing that mid-market enterprise. And then my enterprise who's managing everything that's strategic.
So, and remind me, how long have you been with Crunchbase?
I've been at Crunchbase for 2.5 years, about to be 3.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's dog years, right? In the tech world. So,
yeah.
So July 2023, so let's call it a year and a half ago. So halfway in your tenure, you had something pretty profound happen. Do you want to discuss? Because I want to talk about the before and after and how you guys were able to kind of pick back up. So tell us a little bit about July 2023.
Yeah, it was a rough month, that's for sure. We unfortunately had a RIF, and it wasn't the easiest of conversations or news. And it was a huge change, like for the entire company.
To be clear, it was half the team that was cut.
It was half of the CS team that was cut. That was huge. We did not lose half of the customer base. We lost half of the individuals managing the base. So it was a matter of, yes, change in this form isn't the greatest. It sucks, to be frank, but we still had customers that we needed to make sure had that measure of success, that ability to lean on us for what they needed. And so it was a matter of mobilizing my existing team that remained and really creating a methodology that worked for us and for our customers to meet them where they were at without straining our resources. And so came about, we birthed a new scaled model. We created many, knowledge training tutorials. We created videos, a little bit of like the self-serve guidance, but then also collaborated closely with marketing and our internal teams to make sure our customers were helped every touch point or every step of their journey without having a human approach to every single account on any given day.
Well, and how is that like shifted? I mean, you had to, right? You don't have as many people. You have just as many customers, right? So this is very much one of those.
Did you have to do more with less?
We all It's the worst. I hate that so much.
Yeah.
What are some of like you're a year and a half like into this new kind of model? What are some of those lessons that you learned not only from your customers, right, hearing what they're saying and the change in the expectation, but also from your team? So kind of two-pronged approach. What are some of those lessons that you've learned? And I don't know why these balloons are, for those watching, balloons just went onto my video. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, some of the lessons that we've learned. One, data is a great driver, but it also can hinder what you're looking to accomplish. Too much data can hinder. And so we quickly learned that there is a thing called analysis paralysis that everyone's heard of, and that we can't overthink the structure of, the scaled model. Like we have to analyze, where our sweet spot is, where our product is heading, understanding like who we're building for, and ensure that that is the center of our strategy. That's like our North Star of who do we want to focus on? And then how do we help those customers that maybe don't fit into that model still be just as successful? And the biggest lesson that we learned out of that was tools make a huge, huge impact. A feedback loop is an even bigger impact. And what I mean by that is it's a different approach. It's a change for a customer, especially when they don't know what they should expect post a RIF or post a change. And not many of the customers knew that we went through this. And so it was a matter of making it seamless. And when we did that, the biggest piece of feedback we were given was twofold. One, customers loved our automated onboarding and our no-touch onboarding. And what I mean by that is that tells me that we did a really great job outlining how to implement the tool and how to become successful. And the way we did that was like via milestones. So we created milestones every customer should achieve within, an X amount of time, or what are
they? What are they?
Yeah. So first, it's as simple as assigning a seat, like get your seats assigned. When you do that, I'm going to give you information on why it matters and then give you the next 3 steps I want you to take. So it's a guided approach to onboarding. Saving a search is huge, or setting up your territory if you're a salesperson is such a big win, because you're going to get all of that juicy information on what's happening within the companies in your territory or that fit within your territory for you to then go prospect and target immediately. And it's going to give you a snippet of, what you should say, how you should say it. And so that right there was an immediate win for anyone on that sales prospecting profile that fits that profile. And they're loving it. And so it's nice to have built like 6 or 7 milestones within the first 3 months of their onboarding period, because you're now controlling the narrative without having to control it. You're showing them how they can be successful and get time to value almost immediately. Because
what tools were you using to connect all these dots?
Yeah, that was my question. Was this manual? Is this automated? Are you, how are you building these journeys?
So like I said, we had to get scrappy. We had outreach. We had my now manager of CS, Chantel, and our ops manager, Mackenzie, really work together and create these onboarding sequences with the help of our solutions engineer and our product team. So we're building out different milestones. We're building out these like how-to videos, guided paths, things like that, alongside our knowledge center to make sure that these customers were successful. What we've moved to now a year and a half in, we're having our marketing team help us with these like touches. So providing air cover and a more one-to-many approach, because outreach is super limited. We can reach out to our point of contacts, but we can't reach out to all of our end users. And so that was like a huge gap that we recognized. We recognized early on, but we didn't have the time to dedicate to that just because we needed something quick.
Yeah. And you did it within 3 to 4 months.
We did it within 3 to 4 months. Like we were off the ground running by November 1st, if I'm not mistaken.
Was that like predicated on I haven't actually used the software like internally other than in the past when I'm doing research on companies that I'm like, informing myself on. So I've had that experience with Crunchbase, but when it comes to like the lift for transformation within the organizations, I would expect that there's a lot of education that needs to go in to start, right? Getting people on board and getting people up to speed. How has that changed with a complete reduction in staff? I mean, half of your staff is gone, right? So your enablement has to transition to something different. How have your customers responded? Maybe not necessarily like on renewal rates, but just like on satisfaction and kind of the experience of like, do they still love Crunchbase in the same way? This is one of those things that we hear so often when CSM teams get decimated and they're like, well, I don't know who to talk to anymore and I'm pissed. Right. So talk to me a little bit about, how your customers have kind of responded to what you've offered them now as standard.
Yeah. So it was very strategic in the sense that I pushed a lot of the low touch, low need customers into that scaled model first, because that's where I really wanted to test it. And the reason being is these were individuals that I had known come from previous Crunchbase experience. And we can tell in terms of their usage, their adoption, etc. And so there wasn't much of a shift for them. They still had access to an individual CSM if they needed help. So they had a main POC that they could reach out to. The ones that were coming in net new, we were putting via these onboarding paths, these scaled onboarding paths. And for them, it was much easier for them to consume the knowledge as opposed to having to be forced on this like one-to-one training where honestly, they didn't have the time at that time. And so it was great. Like that's great feedback. I think the thing that I learned pretty quickly was we can't please everyone. I understand that, but there's a way in which we can. And it's via a support model and a CS model that comes together and works together. So, our customers in that scaled approach not only have access to our support team, but also a CSM or a pseudo CSM. And it's kind of done on a round robin scale where they write in and my team will still jump on a call. It's not like you've lost complete touch with a human. We'll still do that sort of engagement. We'll even have our product team jump in and help us out with like hearing out what our customers want, what they need in that segment. It's not that they're completely shunned from those communications. It's a matter of I can't have CSMs proactively reaching out to them every month to have a conversation. It's, we're heavily reliant on surveys, CSATs, things like that to really help us understand where they're at. And if I foresee any sort of risk or churn, we do jump on that well ahead. And we mark those well before that 90 to 120 day period before renewal hits.
Hey everybody, it's Josh. I'm taking a quick break from the podcast to tell you a bit about UpdateAI. I started UpdateAI to solve two major challenges for CS teams. The first is that we save CSMs 4 to 5 hours per week with our productivity through AI. Secondly, we give leaders a window into all the conversations across each account and the entire portfolio. So we help knowledge transfer, we help increase the coverage model of your CS teams, and we help you detect emerging patterns in what your customers are telling your CSMs across all the risks, product feedback, advocacy moments, and expansion opportunities. So come check us out at www.updateai. It's completely free to sign up and trial. One of the things that you had mentioned to me before is that you help your customers celebrate the milestones as they go through the journey. So can you share a little bit more about how you guys do that?
Yeah, so we're actually revamping that altogether. So one of the things that we're really excited about is, we're leaning in on our product team and our engineering team to provide us those like pendo signals of what our customers are doing on a regular basis. What do their journeys kind of lead to? Like, are they on our financial hub for, a majority of their time, or are they looking at profile descriptions? And with that kind of knowledge and insight, what we're doing is building out milestones that are meaningful. Like, what does it mean to be successful on Crunchbase? A few things. One, like, you should have your seats assigned. You should be using the tool to, do a little bit of your own research. You should be using our growth outlook cards that are powered by AI to identify, whether a company is growing or not. You should be saving said company to a list. And once you make those milestones or you hit those milestones, like, we're celebrating with like, you did great. Like, this is why it matters that you did this. And here's the return you should see. And then here's like that next step that you should be taking in order to go achieve that next milestone.
So it's content. You deliver content to them to show them what's next. It's not just a badge.
Nope. It's not just the badge. I want to drive adoption into the base. And I think this is a great way to do it. And it also helps us kind of curate a journey for a specific persona that's joining Crunchbase. Or on the API side, it's a little bit difficult to follow along, but there's milestones there too. Like, making your first API call, calling an endpoint that I know is meaningful to somebody in the financial sector versus somebody in software.
Yeah, no, I love it. Good. So I want to talk a little bit about, we're heading into 2025.
God, I can't believe it.
I know. As I said it, I'm like, wait, so weird. I'm so old, but not as old as John.
Ouch.
But so
I still have my hair though. So
yeah, it's been long gone.
In 2025, I'm hoping to be a great year. It's going to be my wedding year.
Oh, look at.
Well, there we go.
Aanal is just pulling us out of this dishing each other. Yeah. What are your wins? Like, what's your biggest focuses for 2025 as you think about? I assume you're planning now for it.
I am planning now for it. I think the biggest, what I'm hoping is our biggest win is, we've launched this new product. I am hoping one of the things that my team can help with this launch is going to be around the ability to further drive our stickiness when it comes to our data value. So Crunchbase's value has been rooted in the data we provide our customers. I am so incredibly excited to see how this historical data that we've provided customers for years on end is now shifting into that future thinking data. Like, what could happen? Tell me if a company is growing. I want to see how sticky that is. And I know we've gotten some great traction. And I know my team is, equipped, ready to support it. And so we're really thinking through like best practices, strategy sessions to host with our customers as we deliver this new product to them. And one of the key metrics that I'm looking to track is, of course, retention, but also that satisfaction score. So, we haven't historically rolled out a customer satisfaction score for our companies that have had our API, like our customers that have solely API. And that's something that I'm really eager to look into.
Yeah. I'm really excited for you because like a part of, I go out there and I talk about AI and I talk about the RAG pipeline, RAG, retrieval augmented generation, right? Yep. And so this idea of giving more context to these agent workflows. And so you guys are like, this is perfectly fitting into your wheelhouse right now. That has just given, just Red Bull wings to your data set of like being able for outreach and whatnot to be able to go in there and pull in Crunchbase data to know, like you said, if a company's growing or whatnot. So I'm excited for you. I think that's, and I love to see that you guys are like leaning all in on this. How are you guys, last question, how are you guys thinking about AI for yourselves as far as enablement? You mentioned like importance on aligning with your chief product officer and maybe some other things, but what are you guys thinking about internally?
Yeah, internally, I think two things. One, if I'm looking at it from like a customer perspective, one of the biggest things that we had heard was our customers' inability to understand our query builder was huge. And we took that as a fundamental issue or a fundamental problem, because if a customer doesn't know how to query a search within crunchbase.com, we're going to fundamentally lose that customer. And so the thing that we did was we brainstormed internally with our engineering, product, our customer teams to really identify the problem, the root cause, and then how do we solve it? And that's where our AI search comes in. So like, it's helping our users make smarter, efficient business decisions and easily ask in natural language, hey, Crunchbase, like, can you find me 500 startups in the San Francisco area that focus on health tech? And that's all they have to do. They just have to type it in, as opposed to having filters to go through it. So that's been a huge win. It's helping us become 10 times more confident in the decisions we're making on the product, because we're hearing it, we're making it happen, and it's working. Internally, the way we're looking at AI, of course, you heard about predictions and insights. My team is starting to put together use those insights and build out a churn forecast and a retention forecast. And those are the types of companies that we want to make sure we have our arms around, and we have additional support from like our product team, our cross-functional teams to really focus in on. And I just think like AI accessibility is essential for like organizations. You've got to be able to track AI trends like across industries, emphasizing, how you're democratizing those AI tools, like allowing businesses of all sizes to like leverage those technologies. And I think the overarching goal when I think of AI is the ability to make AI-driven insights accessible for non-experts. Like that's the key thing to me. And you should look at it as like a code-free, I don't know, like to me, like when I think of AI, like building code-free AI platforms is going to like further push the narrative. And the biggest thing that I think we're doing apart from predictions and insights is like our partnership with Perplexity, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, she plugged it right at the end. You should have done it in the beginning. You'd have more viewers, but plug it, and then we're going to leave on that. Tell us all about Crunchbase's partnership with Perplexity.
Yeah, so it's, Perplexity is this free AI search engine. It's designed to really help you discover information. So ask it any question, and it'll search the internet to give you accessible, verifiable answers. Well, when you plug in Crunchbase data and use that as like the data source, you're going to be able to get our uniquely sourced proprietary data within Perplexity's search engine. So you will be able to, again, like come together and understand the information of a company when it comes to its financial data, its profiles, its company data, etc., to help like those investors, those researchers, salespeople make those decisions faster without having to like read through a bunch of different articles.
I love that partnership too. I mean, obviously because the functionality behind it, but also because I think it's an early adoption of the future of the monetization of these different systems like ChatGPT and Perplexity, where you have these partnerships, and it's not just Perplexity going out there scraping the internet and giving it all away for free, but you guys are the ones that are the data source here. So I think this is a big thing that we're going to start to see, and that's so exciting. Again, another reason it's going to be an exciting year for you guys to see how that unveils itself.
it's a huge, huge like win, especially because like we've heard time and again, like people want Gen AI to help them do their jobs. And this is a means in which it will help them. Like data scientists, if I were a data scientist, then that would be where I'd live, because it will do that analysis portion for me and it will help me surface like the trends I need.
Aanal, thank you so much for being here. You've got a lot of exciting things personally and professionally going on. So congratulations. I think 2025 is going to be a grand year for you. So congratulations and thanks again for being on the show.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. And I look forward to 2025 and hopefully you both still have hair.
Yes, that's the goal.